welcome everyone to another episode of Games Lost to the Ages. I'm your host Blitz from MaddnessScene. It's nice to have you with us. We're playing Super Conflict, and I'm skipping up pretty far ahead to Scenario 21, which will be the next one we cover. Okay, so now, as you can see, ships are introduced, but actually they're not really all that important until the very late game. Not in the scenario late game, but like in the actual game itself when the flagship is introduced. As you can see, they have two battleships, and I've got destroyers. Also, ships are the most flawed concept in this game, I think. Destroyers are essentially just the commandos of the sea. They have weak attack and defense, and contrary to what you would think, they don't have any like special ability to destroy submarines, which is just weird, because what are destroyers supposed to destroy then? It's kind of ironic. They don't destroy anything in this game. Submarines are overpowered as far as defense goes. They have the highest defense unit defensibility in the game. They're virtually untouchable unless they get attacked by, ironically, a battleship, which again doesn't make sense because battleships are supposed to be weak to submarines, but I digress. Okay. So again, I've mentioned before how I have a policy of no attacking the computer on the first turn. So I'm going to refrain from doing that and allow them to deploy their forces before I attack them. So the key to this scenario is I need to keep their battleships away from this side of the river. And that's going to involve using my destroyers to block the other ends of the bridges. And we'll just move in here, like so. Okay, cruiser is actually the air defense unit of the ships, so you use your cruisers to shoot down any air units that come your way. We're going to go ahead and deploy our units like that. So in my airfield, I have a A-10 Thunderbolt. Okay, that's a really good bomber. And then FA-18 Hornets, which are the best fighter units in the game for blue. And the Thunderbolt's the best bomber unit. So that's a really solid starting lineup as far as air units go. Alright, we gotta make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All ships move 6 faces except for battleships, which move 5. We definitely don't want to lose a unit to a battleship. That's careless. It would cost us points. It's just an overall not a positive experience. Sam's probably fine where it is. Let's see. Maybe not. I should probably move it to this forest here. Sam's they only have 5 fuel, which really limits their usability, so you have to pay careful attention to that. That's it for my deployment. We're gonna go again, just commando. It's the safe bet. Okay, I get a Frogfoot and Foxbat, so that I actually have a advantage in fighter combat in this map, which is huge. It's a very big deal, but they do get a helicopter while I don't. At least I didn't see a helicopter of mine. Rest in peace, commandos. That's okay though, because I'm gonna avenge them with my cruiser, which I positioned to deal with any air units in that area. Okay, this is gonna be the end of my destroyer. Yes, tanks can actually attack ships and do substantial damage to destroyers. As you can see. So my plan to block the bridge is kind of falling a little flat here. Units always fight back, even if it seems like they realistically shouldn't be able to fight back. They always, every unit has at least a secondary weapon that they can go to. And then see, this is the more irritating parts of the game. I don't understand it. How a submarine's gonna try and shoot a 30mm cannon at commandos in the mountains. As you can see, it barely did any damage. It did cost me some ammo points with my commando though, so I guess in that case it's good for them. I don't know. And then they're gonna use their MiGs to fight my submarine, so this is why I have house rules against these kind of things. For players, anyway. AI, I can't control what they do, but I just don't think it's a waste of time, and I don't think it really should be allowed for units to use their secondary weapon to make attacks. Congratulations, you did all of 2 points of damage. So really, the computer's misuse of their air units is mainly what allows you to win almost all of the scenarios in this game. And consequently, player versus player matches in this game are very intense, especially at the beginning when both players have all their air units, because you're constantly checking, okay, where are my units compared to theirs? How am I going to use them to screen my ground units, and so on. It's actually, this game has a very complex, you know, kind of strategy to it when it comes to playing against human players. Okay, Sam. I believe I can move it 2, 3, 4, 5. I could move it to the city. Which is what I will do then. Okay, that's one of their fighters down. Okay, so I have a choice. I can attack with my cruiser against their helicopter or against their frogfoot. I think it's better to go after the frogfoot. So, again, the attack jets, the A-10 Thunderbolt and the Sukhoi 25 Frogfoot, they are the most powerful units in the game. Hands down, really. He doesn't have a cruiser. Oh, they don't have a cruiser unit in this map. That works very well for me. Very well. Okay, so we're gonna move our air unit right over there, block the bridge, engage their Foxbat. Didn't destroy him, but did substantial damage though. Block the other end of the bridge. And then go ahead and shoot down. Yeah, move him right there. It is important to think about where you position your units in this game. So that's why I pause. If I ever pause before I make a move, it's because I'm thinking about where they are and what I'm going to do with them next turn, what could the enemy do to them, and so on and so forth. Okay. So, Thunderbolts. Just to give you an idea of how strong the attack jets are in this game, I'm going to use the attack jet to attack a unit designed to destroy air units. I get the first strike, so keep that in mind. Watch what happens. He gets destroyed. So even though I fought a unit that should in theory destroy my unit, I get to attack first, and I do so much damage to him that he can't even hit me back. So now all his air defense is gone now, except for that one Foxbat unit, which, oh crap though. Oh, did I misplay that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, see, I should have put my unit there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I messed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's really too bad. I still feel like I'm gonna win, but that's really too bad that I was careless. Because if he's smart, he's gonna go and destroy my unit, which means goodbye. And that's gonna just make this mission last way longer than it probably should. I won't start over though. We'll just have to live through it. I can make another bomber for myself. I usually don't do that, but in this scenario, I think I'm going to because I'm anticipating losing my... Which, the Intruder is not as strong as the Thunderbolt, but... And he doesn't care. So even when I make a serious mistake, and end up destroying him, that's this game's AI for you. If this game's AI was even decent, even just competent, not great, just decent, this game would be really hard. The designers did a very good job making it so that you are at a disadvantage in most scenarios. The stupidity of the computer completely erases the advantage that it has, though. I mean, there's a lot of scenarios later in the game where you just look at it at the start and you're like, I don't know how I'm supposed to win. And then as you play it out, you'd be like, oh, I see how the computer's doing me a bunch of favors. Alright, so our Abrams and the T-80 are going to slug it out. Or not. They're just going to hit me.
Are you waking up? We just got an email that said that everyone has to be registered by 8:30, and those registrations can start as early as 6 a.m.
Alright.
So can we leave it like a little before 8?
Yes.
Because it's going to be really crowded by 8. I mean, if you have to be checked in by 8:30, it might be a line even. So if we can leave like at 7:45. Okay, so you're waking up at 7, you'll be ready by 7:45?
Yes. Alright, so my turn. Let's see. Alright, so just give you some perspective here again. T-80s, strongest land units in the game. Have a lot of health. They're relatively tough to beat, right? Watch what the Thunderbolt can do to it. This is why I was freaking out when I realized I left it exposed to a potential attack. The attack jets, if somebody lets you use them without any retaliation, you're just gonna have a field day destroying their guys. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and land them now because he would have to land next turn anyway. A notable thing, air units cannot occupy in flight a airport. I can't set my Hornet to fly, basically occupy the space. It has to land there. And also you cannot move air units onto a city. Even if the city is unoccupied, you cannot, the game will not allow you to do that. So you have to keep that in mind. I'm not sure why. I'm sure why, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to ever progress, because people just block cities with their air units. So I guess it makes sense. It's just that that's just something to keep in mind, is all. So we're gonna go ahead and move up, and his submarine will probably just take pot shots at him, and I'm fine with that, as stupid as it is. Okay, flag tank. Move in. Cruiser. Okay, so cities repair the strength, restore fuel and ammo for ground units, and any naval units in an adjacent space also get serviced by that city. So that means that you can actually have multiple naval units serviced by a single city, as opposed to ground units, which, well, only one can get serviced, and that's the one that's occupying the city. Alright, so that's it for my moves. I'm just going to leave my tank the way it is. He's going to go and siege my factory somehow. I'm not surprised. My ships, I don't know how the computer would play on this. I can't imagine it would be much smarter though. Oh, so here we go. Battleship's gonna go ahead and destroy my commando, but I took over the city, which is what I was aiming for. It's time to move though, so cruiser's pretty useless. Submarines actually starting to slowly get beat up. We'll service them there, and then fully resupplied Thunderbolt. They have no answer for it, so we're just going to go ahead and eliminate this threat right here. Neatly wraps up that. Just move them there for the sake of moving them there, essentially. I get first shot. We'll probably take some return fire for damage, but we're gonna finish them off. So that does it for his T-80s. He had 3 of those things, and I had 1 Abrams. But again, it doesn't matter. If you have air superiority, you win in this game. It's really as simple as that. He doesn't even move his naval units. I don't know. Okay, so his battleship can attack my flag tank. I don't know for how much damage, though. You know what? Just for the sake of getting this over with, I'm going to go ahead and advance my units here. And we're even going to go there. So you get a bomber next turn, though. Oh, maybe I probably should have waited then. That's really unfortunate. Maybe I'll just screen it, though. No, he's still gonna... Alright, I should have waited. I'm getting impatient. That's what happens when you get impatient. You make stupid decisions. Okay, so again, if that was an M1A1, he would have done way more damage, but the damage that non-flag tank units do to flag tanks is capped. Yeah, so this is idiotic of me. I got impatient. There's no other way around it. He's sending everything after him. That's annoying. You can afford another. What's the I'm wondering what the production cost of that is. I feel like it's a little too low. But the 3 turns is a long investment, though. 3,800. You can't produce Thunderbolts. 5,400, that would be way too cheap for the cheapest unit in the game, but actually you can't even make them anyway, so it doesn't matter. The stronger bombers and helicopters you can't make in this game. And for good reason, really. I mean, it would just make the game way too stacked, so I was able to pump out the strongest units in the game like that. It makes it, and the other thing though, even more importantly, it makes it so that the value of those units is something to be considered. If you made it where somebody could just make a Thunderbolt, it'd be like, oh dang, I lost a powerful unit, but hey, at least I can just make another. No, in this game, it puts extreme importance. It's like losing your queen in chess and accepting the thing that you can make a pawn into another unit if you reach the end of the board, but ignoring that, it's like losing your queen in chess. It's a big blow to you, and so you should avoid losing it at all costs. So I like that aspect of this game, doing that. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and get rid of this fitter. Alright, I want to lure his flag tank over to our side so we can get this mission over with. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I have enough to make a T80, not T80, an M1A1 now, so should be good. 3, 4, 6, submarine can't do anything, naval units don't really matter anymore. They never really did matter in this mission scenario. Okay, 2 turns to make, very strong. It's one of the best units you can produce. There's nothing else to it. There's nothing to counter submarines. Like, you can do marginal damage with a battleship or even a Thunderbolt is only going to do like 14 damage tops to a submarine in one attack. Okay, that does open up an opportunity though here, because I got their battleship to cross sides, which means that we can go ahead and take over the city, or actually occupy it, even though we own it already. And we can just make sure that their battleship does not cross over back to our side by using a fighter to block it. Block the bridge, that is. So that's what we will do. We will use a fighter and block the bridge. Go ahead and land. Thunderbolt right here. Thunderbolts actually do decent damage to battleships, but it's just a distraction right now. Now watch. If that was a T-80, he'd be gone. But in this game, they cap the damage that bombers do. They don't want you using bombers to destroy a flag tank. That's just how they made the game. Maybe I can... No, because you can still move to the... Oh, actually, no, let's do that. I'm going to just try to bait him onto the bridge. That way, I can safely attack him with my flag tank and end this scenario. That's one unit. That's the one I just landed. Alright. Which will do the exact same amount of damage. So, okay. This will cause us to lose a unit, but it won't matter. Really. I guess he's living with a little bit of health. Now, if the submarine attacked the cruiser, they would have destroyed that unit this turn. And he didn't move his flag tank. So even though they're low on fuel, you can do a hit and run like this. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to do a hit and run. Okay, so the way it works is a unit can either move and attack, or attack and then move. It's actually pretty significant to know that. So we can attack first and then move. Attacking does not automatically end the turn for the unit. Now there is an exploit. I have a house rule against exploiting this because this is exploiting a flaw in the programming. As you can see, I can move. If I cancel my movement, I can now use other units to act and then move my unit. So I could, in theory, say, like, move my SAM and then move my Thunderbolt after that and put the Thunderbolt in place. I regard that as cheating. I think that you should have to move the unit, because when you move a unit, you don't get to delay whether or not you want to attack. Like, you have to make a decision. I'm going to attack now, or I'm not going to attack at all after you move. So if you attack first, you shouldn't be allowed to delay your decision on whether you want to reposition afterward. So that's an exploit of the game's programming, and I don't allow it. So it was a potentially challenging mission, but as always, we found a way to get through it. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for bearing with me through another episode. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. We'll play some more scenarios, but for now, take care.